Hey everybody, it's time for part 2 of the Italy tier list. Last time we finished with the tanks. So let's go over recon vehicles, helicopters, and air. Yeah, let's just straight get into it, huh? So we have those A109s. One thing to consider with those is they are pretty fast. 6 HP. Usually helicopters are 4 HP if they're that fast. Like if we look at, I know you can't see the left. You know what? I'll briefly show you the left here. Um, I might choose, obviously, but the Alouettes, all of these are 4 HP and slow. This is an exception, actually. This is also 6 HP and very fast. But Bells, 4 HP into 20. Cayuse, they're fast, but only 4 HP. It is actually rather rare. Unlike it's a huge deal on the basic one without any weaponry. But it is worth bringing up. By the way, if I sound weird, I have like a thing on my tongue that makes talking slightly harder. You can, I think, hear on my L's. Not like I take many when I play this game. Okay. Where did I put... Did I have like a Cayuse? No, it seems like I... Yeah, I didn't have like a... Oh, all very good optics Recon handles are in there. So yeah, it's just solid. You know, if you just want the Recon hero... Why does it let me type in there again? What did I do wrong? I had it last time as well, but I forgot what was the problem. Am I stupid? Oh, I'm not in editing. I was logged into my wrong account. That's funny. So we have the A109 EOA1. But nobody uses it, because for 5 points more, you get actually this little beast here. Doesn't look like much, but just like with the Hera, the double 50 cal, don't underestimate it. Usually wins against like basic autocannons, like on the Gazelle cannon, and obviously against anything else that isn't an autocannon or a Yak-B. And 14 FFARs, they're not gonna like change the world, but you know, if you get to the enemy farm or something, enemy spawn, and they have like a Jeep CB there, you only need to deal 5 damage. Holy shit, that thing on my tongue does make me struggle to say certain words. AB206, yeah, it's basically like a basic Huey. It is worth pointing out, though, of course, that you do pay a 15-point premium on the speed and HP on the A109, right? And then for 5 points more, you can just get a slower helicopter and get exceptional optics. Yeah, it's up to you. But I think the speed and to a certain extent the HP is honestly very, very valuable. Yeah. I don't like slow recon helos, plus they suffer heligufo, a availability penalty. Yeah, recon jeeps. They suck. If they had oh sorry, carabinieri. If they had something like a KPVT, okay, but they only get a Browning. At least this one, right? Bersaglieri. It's like the first shock recon squad with like a top tier MG. I think the best we had thus far was... What is the best we had thus far? A bunch of them have snipers. What does the Rangers get? Just M240. They get a Bren, I think. No, L7. They get an AA52. I think the Liren thus far have to have the best MG. Or had the best MG. Of Shock Recon. Bersaglieri. They have an MG42. Or an MG3. If you, stat-wise, the same thing. But they have the Law, which is pretty bad. But they're still honestly very solid squads. But I would say for Recon infantry, their AT weapon matters more than their MG. Because usually they're there alone or, away from your other infantry or your other units. And if they want to kill something, it's usually a vehicle, either by sneaking through or something else. However, them having an MG3 and being solid against infantry means, especially with the Protetto, you actually do get some weird pseudo grinding infantry in mech decks. That is not to be underestimated. Come Subin, yeah, just 8 here. Just, of course, being not as like, oh, they're only 8 here. They're very, very good. They would be broken at 10 men. I still don't understand. Oh my god, real voice reveal right there. Doing this very early in the morning. I still don't understand. And if you're one of those people, then yes, I'm calling you out. Why people think they'd be balanced at 10 men? They'd be busted. They'd be just broken, right? I think many people do not realize how big of a difference the 1400 meters are compared to the 700 on the Carl Gustav M2 or the 875 on the Carl Gustav M3, which would be, for example, Jägere. It just gives you so much to work with, so much more range. Not even mentioning that besides them being much, much stronger when, behind enemy lines and such, they'd give you a very strong wheeled way to get forward towns and defend them for quite a while. They would be so strong in a defensive position in towns and such, which they already kind of are, but with 5 HP you just gotta be careful, right? But with 10 men, it'd just be ridiculous. Not even mentioning they're not prototyped. So I will die on that hill. That they are perfectly fine with 5 men and are much, much better for the game if they stay that way. Which they will, because there won't be any more patches. At least not until the next DLC in like 5 years again. Esploratori. Oh my god, my voice. Esploratori. They're very mediocre, but at the end of the day, just the Recon infantry. Once again, their AT weapon matters a lot, and they have, I'm pretty sure, the worst AT weapon out of any Recon infantry. The other contender for that would be Hussars. They lack the range, admittedly, but that's 70 meters does not make up for 10% accuracy, for one. The other thing is, they will at least double tap, assuming they get a second shot off. They will at least double tap up until 8 armor. So, I'd much rather have these guys, I think. That said, there's the Recon infantry, so see here it is. Yeah, 20mm, that's basically a Lux A1. Probably like a C tier. Where did I put the Lux? Lux, there it is. Schwerpanzer Lux A1. 90mm is honestly quite nice. I think it's a bit underrated. We have it in a non-Recon variant for example, the US. But of course, Recon gives you stealth and optics. Both help with lethality and survivability, as of course, as I keep mentioning every time this is being brought up. I honestly think it's solid B tier. Now we get to the big boy, the big Fiat, even though it's a smaller caliber. This thing can be very, very ridiculous. You do pay for it. It's 50 points for a 2 armor vehicle that doesn't really outrange a whole lot of stuff. But boy, oh boy, does it kill stuff. IFVs, APCs, anything like that. Bam, bam, dead, right? 30 RPM, true 30 RPM. Not like fake autocannon or something. With 11 AP and range on wheels with optics, it is so strong. It is so good. I'm not sure if I'd put it quite in S tier, because it is very expensive and only has 2 armor. Maybe it should be an S tier, but it would be very, very high A tier if I were to rank, within the tiers. Let's put it that way. Leopard 182 Recon was just solid. I think it's a better version of the German one, actually. Sort of. You do lose 1 AP, but you get an MG and 1 armor, right? It's basically what it comes down to. I don't think there's any other difference. No, there isn't. Might be like the new Isvidyach, since the Isvidyach got nerfed. But then again, the Isvidyach was also 25 points. So... So it's very, very solid. I don't think it's quite 8 here, but it is... It might now be like the best cheap Recon tank. Like what else is there? There's also the CTQ. How does it compare to the CTQ? Of course, being 5 points cheaper is a huge boon. It's still the same range, same accuracy, lower RPM, 1 less armor, a bit slower, but at 50 cal. However, just 5 points cheaper. And 25 versus 30 points is not nothing. It's also going to be more quiet because of the lower caliber, which matters a lot for Recon vehicles, actually. 10 RPM though versus 8. Might be a toss-up. Centauro Recon. It is obviously ridiculously good. Again, I'm not sure if I'd put it quite in S tier, right? It's a type of unit that on its own is strong. But it's not gonna suddenly change the entire deck necessarily, right? It also depends on what else you have. It would fit, of course, in pretty much any deck. I think any deck that has it would love to have it. Although frequently I've actually omitted this in favor of the 60mm if I didn't have the space for both of them. Just because I think this is more fun. I'm not sure if I'd say the 60mm is truly better, but I just find it more fun. Plus, in beta testing, I use this a lot just so we could get a better understanding of how strong this is. This one is just straightforward, right? It also depends on the rest of your deck on how broken this is, right? If you're playing Blue Moto and put this in, this is gonna get you a lot more, or it's gonna be a lot stronger than if you were to put this in, let's say, I don't know, US. That said, for US, this would also bring a lot more new, let's say, capabilities that the deck didn't have before. It's interesting. It's just tough to evaluate, but we're evaluating these units on their own, not in the context of decks they come in. Unless, of course, we give them the blue, red, purple kind of deal, right? For the coloring. That is for context. It might be controversial, but I'm actually not putting it in S tier. Might be controversial, I might be regretting this. But, it is what it is. Para Cecchini. I mean, they're actually, in a way, the worst sniper squads. Because they didn't get classified, apparently. Well, I don't know if it's on purpose or not. I think it might be on purpose. But they did not get clarified as light infantry. Or classified, not clarified. Which means that together, they're the only other shock sniper squad. Besides the Recce. But the Recce get the... Oh no, they're also 25. Never mind. Why did I think they were 30? I don't know why I thought that. Either they were 30 and eventually got reduced to 25 and I just didn't know. Or it's like a Mandela effect or some shit. I thought the Recce were 30 kmh. Well, either way, they're basically Recce but worse because they don't even get AP or the range that the C15 gets. And unlike, the elite sniper squads, they don't even get an AT weapon. So out of all the sniper squads, they're the worst. However, usually, if you want to get the best or the most out of sniper squads, that is not as much. That is the least that matters. What matters the most is the stealth, right? So while they're still a bad sniper squad, they are a sniper squad. So honestly, I'm still gonna put them in B tier. All right, vehicles. Get. Oh no, do we have to? Oh yeah, we transports. We have an extra tab for transports. Put them in and put them here in B tier. We have an extra tab for transport. I forgot. They don't even get IVs. Is this the first nation that doesn't even get to select? No. Like Canada as well, right? No, Canada has a TH. ANZAC. ANZAC has. Yeah, ANZAC doesn't have IV either. God, I shouldn't record this early in the morning. My voice is horrible. This is just a truck, Fiat. We probably have. There we go. 10 points, 1 FAV MG with transports. I don't think we actually need to put in anything other than maybe this. You have something for Recon, 15-point weird Recon transports. I don't think there's anything that we actually have to enter. No. We have to enter the 2 and 3 armor ones. Oh no, 5.1. No, we have. Okay, I only put the overall stuff for the 1 armor transports. So we have to add the VCC1 and VCC1 Chameleon Mark 3. S tier. Very good APCs. What can I say? You actually see both, because on some units the Mark III reduces availability, but also because one is a prototype, the other one isn't. Okay. Tank destroyers and fire support. AR-59 Canoniera. Unfortunately, it's on the AR-59 chassis or Jeep and not on the AR-76, because the AR-76 is 120 kmh. Would be very, very sick. So I'm just gonna put this in. Wow, did I put all the other recoilless rifle Jeeps in D tier? I hate recoilless rifle Jeeps. Oh, I hated them back then, huh? Holy, I did not pull punches. This is something that nowadays I'd probably put in C tier. I fully admit that. But this is not the time to revamp the tier list, so I'm just gonna be consistent for now. And if I ever do like an overhaul of this thing, which would take ages, but maybe I will do it, I'd probably put them all in C tier and the Rover Wombat in B tier. Did I put the Wombat in C at least? I did. Okay. And this thing is so underrated. Or maybe not underrated, but inconspicuous. I think on paper it just looks like it's an Ito Jeep, okay. But for one, I think Ito Jeeps might be the best tow Jeeps. Because they're not as expensive as a tow 2, and as such, a single thing that sees to set it, and it will die. And can actually kill stuff unlike the basic tow. So it's affordable enough, and yet still threatening enough. Plus, it's 120 kmh off-road speed. I'm actually curious, how many Ito Jeeps are there actually? There's like mainly tow Jeeps. Like we have South Koreans have one, the Dutch have one, and every other Ito carrier is like on an M103. This one is 95, this one is 55, and this is 120. Oh, this one carries 6 missiles, so 35. I'd much rather have the 4 missiles plus faster speed. So yeah. This thing is very, very nice and very underrated. B tier. Oh, surely Razzmann is gonna put it in A tier if he talks about it like that. No, it's not like crazy good. It's just much better than it might look like. C1360. I played with this unit. especially in testing, so much, is still very weird. On paper, you might think like, oh, this is such a good fire support vehicle. And on paper, I'd say, I so agree with you, but in practice, it always falls short. But I think it might be because of what the rest of the Italy deck looks like, and this being a prototype. Since Italy has no IFVs, you usually kind of use this as like your pseudo IFV. And I think that combined with the fact that you have only really 2 solid tanks with decent armor, this is hard to utilize and dies more often than it would maybe in other decks, or has to do more stuff, or is forced to do more stuff than it would do in other decks. Yeah, I still find it tough to evaluate. It is a good unit, it's a great unit, but hard to make use of. Oh, somebody is viewing my tier list right now, but I don't think it's me having it open in another tab. Okay, Centauro. It might be S tier. And you might be like, oh, Razzmann. But you put the Recon one only in A tier, and surely it's better for 10 points more. Yes. But this thing comes in a vehicle tab. And it's available in Mac. Hold on a second. Before I continue. Where is my camera? In C tier. Oh, no. 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 What, who put this in the C tier? My beloved camera. But back to this. Oh, hold on. Vehicle tab units being cheaper / easier to put into a deck does not impact their ranking. For example, that means the Chimera being essentially a tank, but coming in the quote-unquote cheaper vehicle tab has no influence on its place in this list. Ignore what I said in the past minute. Okay, never mind. Well, A tier it is. It's still, I mean, it might still, despite everything, be worth wood in S tier. I'm not sure. I think because a lot of the Centauro, especially this one, a lot of the controversy is Blue Mech gets it, for example. Right? It's not prototyped and it's available in Mech. The Vickers is in B tier, which is maybe also something that I should revisit. But it is certainly better for 5 points more, in my opinion. Yes, you lose 1 AP, but I think the 1 armor is much better. You're also a bit faster. I think the armor is a big deal, actually. Better stabilizer as well and better accuracy. But the 3 armor matters a lot, actually, for these kinds of vehicles. The 2 Pyroses, I'm gonna consider them as one. I think it depends on what you want. This one is cheaper and better off-road, although depending on where you drive, you actually might end up being slower because of its movement type. Jeeps get a bigger speed penalty in like forests and such. And this one has 1 armor and 10 HP as well. Doesn't matter a ton, but against artillery it will. The HP that is, not the armor. But I mean, 5 points difference I think in this case is not a big deal because you don't like spam them. That said, they're very fun. They're also very good. But I think they can also be very underwhelming if you don't use them right. I'm unsure if they're gonna be A or B tier. I love them to death. One of my favorite units that got added with this DLC. I think I'm actually gonna put them in A tier. They're just so nice to have. By the way, sometimes I'm not sure why I capitalize certain stuff, and I don't know why I capitalize Fiat. Should it be capitalized? It is capitalized on the cars, right? if that matters. BTC tow is pretty bad. It's just a basic tow carrier with 1 armor. And it has to reload for 5 seconds after each missile. Ito. I mean, it's an Ito carrier. I think Ito carriers are underutilized or underrated, maybe. So C tier it is. It is affordable, carries some good ammo, and the Ito is by no means bad. But I think in this deck, you'd just much rather have the AR-76 and a 2 must stop myself. ATGM on the thing. Okay, that's just cringe. It's a total carrier, but 2 armor, so it doesn't instantly die if it gets hit by 19 AP or less kinetic at max range, or 15 AP or less heat. Although, I think it's rare that this thing is gonna get shotted by heat. That isn't an ATGM or something like that. Given, you know, its nature of being an ATGM vehicle. I guess cluster, but in this case the front and side armor don't matter. Probably, honestly, C tier as well. It's a lot more expensive, but also just stronger. Helicopters. Oh god, I don't think I even need to put these guys in. We have 15 point and 25 point MG helos, but we don't have 20 point MG helos. I mean, the AB 1412 is not horrible. It's 260 like the Puma. So I guess C tier it is. And the AB 412 Grifone. Then we have the Chinook, which is 25 point MG helos. I don't think I put the Chinook in anywhere else. Yeah, I mean, the transport helos for Italy, they're pretty... Yeah. As basic as it gets, really. Then we have the Mammy for stronger helicopters. Oh, hard to say. It's not great. It's not really horrible either, but yeah, that's not... You can use it. It's not like it's gonna be used. Let's put it that way. A109 AT is honestly in the same tier as like Gazelle Hot. Maybe a bit worse because the Hot one has 22 AP, which is nice. 20 isn't exactly the same, but it also is 6 HP and it's very fast. I think it's quote unquote only B tier, but I think it's actually very, very, very solid. Mangusta, honestly, also B tier. It's a decent TOW2 carrier, but also on the expensive side, right? It's not like the Fennec TOW2 for 55 points. Of course, also only 4 TOW2s. So you have to be more careful with this, I'd say. The FFARs aren't the biggest of deals, and you don't get any like crazy other stats, right? You're sure you have medium optics, 8 HP, you're decently fast, but nothing crazy. CBT, I'm not sure. It's better than its Zephyr E because it has medium optics, which is really nice. Because it's basically same unit, like weaponry wise, right? You get 2 more HP, same stingers, same hydras, same gun, although you get less ammo. 2 more HP, better optics. And 1 side armor front and side, which is not useless, because with the gun you can actually like shoot at infantry in the forests. And this is where the armor matters a lot when you shoot at infantry, or when infantry is in range of shooting at you. Is it as good as the DAB? DAB is an S tier for good reason, right? It's fast, has medium optics as well, but it's also cheaper. But the Mangusta has armor, but it's also more expensive. But it has rocket pods, whereas guns, but the gun has a turret. Also, it has a funny name. Okay, fine. Fine, I'll put it in S tier. Not in blue, please. It is one of the best AA helos in the game, for sure. And then planes. Alright. We have the AV-8B Harrier. Comes 2 on veteran. Wait, the armory tool isn't open. I'm pretty sure it's 2 on veteran. I don't think it's on elite. Some active missiles. 30 AP. These okay speed and ACM. Yeah, 2 on veteran. 3 on trains. I think it's solid B tier. Like, it is not gonna like change the world. It's not like horrible either. Where did I put the other AB? Yeah, okay. It doesn't have a gun like the American variant, but it's, well, not nothing, because it means it's gonna be horrible at helo hunting, not the worst of things. F-104G is a very good bomber. You can kill it very easily, but it can also overwhelm the opponent very easily. It is fast, it is cheap, and it carries a good payload for its price, even as 10% ECM. It's basically a better J7C. Would I consider the better J7H? I'm not sure. Because, for one, sometimes 120 AG bomb is just better than 415 AG bombs. Even if the math might not add up. And also, let me check that. The J7H's bomb has a supply cost of 1500, right? Plain, in case you don't know, I don't know what the exact like supply per second is, but the call-in timer of planes depends on multiple things, of course, right? Refilling, repairing, and rearming, which happen simultaneously, right? They don't happen one after the other. So basically, it depends on what takes the longest: refueling, repairing, or rearming. And for rearming, I believe it's also that weapons are also simultaneously rearmed. So if rearming is the longest, it depends on which of those weapons has the highest supply cost. At least when it comes to having to refill the ammo. So one 20G bomb on the J7H is 1500 supply. One 500 kilogram bomb on the Italian, that's a wrong F104, on the Italian F104G is 500, so the total is 2000. So that is the question, right? Or one of the questions. I would probably still say it's better because it also has ECM, which the J7H I'm pretty sure does not have. The J7H is probably also worse against aerial units. The PL8, no, never mind. The PL8 is actually pretty good short-range missile. 50% accuracy with 4 AG. And more range versus planes. Would you look at that? I guess I can also just bring it up here, huh? The J7H surely is an A tier, right? It is not an A tier. Spicy, Razzmann. You're very spicy. But 10% ECM is certainly something to consider. And one thing has to be said, 4 15 bombs is usually better against vehicles, because then you have higher chances to also hit side and rear armor. I'm gonna say it's better. I'm gonna say it's better than an A tier, although the J7 probably also deserves to be an A tier, honestly. F104S, I've tried this a bunch of times. It is not a great ASF. You do get plenty of them, and they come on decent veterancy, I'm pretty sure. 3 on veteran, which is even more when you're playing Italy. You're not gonna have a good time. If they had a Vulcan, that'd be great. Then they'd be decent, actually. But like this, they struggle. The ASA 1, it's okay. It is okay, but that's basically all that I can say about it. It is very whelming. Once again, if this had a Vulcan, I know why they don't have Vulcans, right? They don't have Vulcans just to add in like more tech stuff, basically. So they can like actually use certain missiles or some things like that, right? there's a reason why they don't have guns, right? It's not Eugen being BS or something. Let me, by the way, do this. Oh, I can't quite do it. Yeah, it's just the unfortunate reality that, well, maybe fortunate, because maybe some of these F-104s might be too strong if they had Vulcans, especially if they had later Vulcans. But it still sort of holds them back. And the ASA 2, I think it's 8 here. It's good. It is affordable for 2 fine forgettable missiles on high vet. Which of course against like high ECM planes or high ECM ASFs is gonna struggle. But the fact that you get fine forget missiles at good range for relatively cheap is still worthwhile. G91. No, don't do this to me. Just Italy, just put new napalm bombs on like a decent frame, please. This one's also pretty bad. This is like a contender of one of the worst. It's not quite what is the Finnish plane called? With the SS11s? It's pretty bad. You have one of those again, right? It feels like out of all the recent DLCs, every DLC got one of these like trainer rocket pod planes, right? South Africa has 2 of them even. Although it's not the exact same plane. Israel, I think, also got. Oh no, they got the Mirage. I mean, it's an okay rocket pod plane. Not much else to say about this. It's solid. There's nothing special about it. 2 types of rocket pod planes, but both are just HE. I think. Which one had it? I'm not imagining this, am I? This one, yeah, it is. Napalm and AoE. Which, it's basically very similar actually. 600 kmh, I think this is 750. Yeah, this is 750. It's okay. You definitely can make stuff work with this, but problem is you need certain circumstances, right? If you manage to snap your AA, your opponent's AA, or overwhelm it or something like that, you can just keep sniping stuff with this, right? Because of its very fast rearm time. But it's also just a sitting duck if there's any AA, right? So it also dies very quickly. It's a very situational plane. The Ghibli is basically just a Cheetah D2. Right? Same speed, same ECM, pretty much same weaponry. Of course, the Cheetah D2 has like the darters or what they're called, but practically the same, right? Put it in B tier back then. It's solid. It's not gonna change the world. Yeah. Tornado A200 is an okay cluster plane. It has good ECM, good speed. Payload is a bit low, but it's also cheapish, right? I'll say B tier again. It's a similar situation, right? It's not gonna like change the meta. Nothing really to write home about. Yeah. The 200B, it's basically an ECR, but you lose the AIM-9s and you're 10 points cheaper. Yeah. Basically it. They put the EC. Where did they put the ECR? B tier. Yeah, okay, fine. Not like you have many choices when it comes to seed in Italy. Although this is not. The ECR is also not prototype, is it? No. Not like you'd really use either of them if you're playing blue. You're either gonna go for the Raven if you want a 1 per card ECM seed plane, or you go for something like a Prowler if you want 2 cards. A 2 per card. Or a Kernus maybe even. Tornado ADV, it is right in between the Tornado F2 and F3, right? It has like the weaponry of the F3 and the ECM of the F2. I'm talking about the British unit and I go to France. Right? So, yeah, ECM of the F2, but I think the super temps like the F3. Yeah. Basically, an F3 with 10% less ECM, for 5 points less. Yeah, not the best deal maybe, but it's workable, right? Yeah, better to put the F3. Yeah, B tier makes sense. It has the same veterancy as well. All right, planes for Italy really whelming. There's nothing crazy. I think many, us included, right, when we tested, we at least at first thought, oh, maybe the A's are too, right? Because it comes on such a cheap frame and it's hard to forget, is this gonna be like the new meme MiG, right? The Finnish MiG? But it really wasn't. It really isn't. So the planes really whelming. Helicopters solid, but it's hard to. I think there's really only two ways your helicopters can be OP. One is if they're like an Mi-17, like a transport with ridiculous rocket pods, or they have stealth. It's basically the main way to have OP helicopters. And vehicles are I love the vehicle type for Italy, right? I love it so much. So good. But yeah, that's the Italy tier list finished. Or Italy part of the tier list. I might eventually do the updated one with the patch and such, and then maybe I might eventually do like an overhaul if people are interested. We will see if there's any interest for it. Either way, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye.